Today we're going to be diving into the concept of the future is fast and 4 key e-commerce strategies to increase sales. A couple of interesting stats from the ebook. So 34% of sites couldn't return useful results when misspelling even a single character. I hate not being able to find products online. 83% said it's appealing to receive assistance, finding and selecting the right product for their needs. I'm really looking forward to diving into that stat and that concept a little bit more today. And a massive 85% of shoppers said a bad delivery experience would prevent them from ordering again. And we've all received those slow or poor delivery experiences that would question making that repeat purchase. Thank you to everyone that completed the registration question. Which strategy are you most focused on to increase sales this year? Some of the call outs, so improving conversion rates. We know conversion rates are struggling at the moment for some brands. So really getting focused on how to make the most of the traffic that's coming to site with a real lens on improving conversions, but then also looking at that upselling and increasing revenue per visit or growing the average order value, and looking at how personalization can play into that as well. And I think one of the ones which is absolutely high on everybody's radar right now is how to use that to improve customer retention and loyalty as well. For those that don't know myself, I am Kate Massey, head of APAC for SearchSpring. Included on the screen are some QR codes. Feel free to connect with us all on LinkedIn using those QR codes. Super excited to announce our Rockstar panel. We have Sarah joining us as the e-commerce product manager of Kookai, has been with the brand for a massive over a decade now. I've seen a lot of change and a lot of growth and a real focus on having that best-in-class online shopping experience. Really looking forward to diving into that. We also have Dan Ferguson, Chief Marketing Officer for Adore Beauty. Anyone that has shopped on Adore Beauty knows you don't just buy the one thing you went there to get. They're very good at growing the average order value, but they sweeten the deal by making sure that those delivery experiences arrive really quickly. I may run out of something and need it straight away, so we really appreciate that, and we love the Tim Tams that come with those deliveries as well. I'm really excited to introduce Samantha as well. Fun fact, Samantha's now worked across 3 SearchSpring clients, Helen Kaminsky, Age, and now is the head of e-commerce and digital for Venroy, that are doing really great things in creating a really great community of shoppers. Now, also really excited to announce our partners that have, first of all, we brought this event together in Melbourne at Half Acre. It was our largest long table lunch. We turned it into an ebook, and now we're unpacking those concepts a little bit further today. We have Michael, the founder and CEO for Prezi, Andrew, the CEO and co-founder of Stockinstore, and James, the co-founder and head of partnerships at Render. I'm really looking forward to hearing from each of these, both brands as well as these partners, on unpacking how can we help shoppers get to find products, discover them, connect and deliver in a much more seamless and efficient way to create those competitive advantages. So really excited to dive into our first strategy, the concept of find, and how do we help shoppers do what they came to do. We have joining me for this section is Sarah from Kookai. Very quickly about SearchSpring, there is a QR code on the screen if you are new to learning about SearchSpring. Dive onto that QR code, learn a little bit more about us, but really goes back to those initial survey questions. We're really focused with brands on how to improve conversions, how to grow the average order value by having a really seamless shopping experience and getting the right product to the right shopper at the right time, and bringing the concepts of search, merchandising, and personalization all together, whilst at the same time letting technology do a lot more of the heavy lifting. So, Sarah, welcome. One of the things we've been talking about lately, Sarah, is the concept of this considered purchase. We know conversions can be struggling at the moment. People are still buying online and in store, but they are considering those purchases more. And whilst the percentage of traffic using search is usually a little bit less, it is accounting for an increasing amount of the revenue. I know with Cookai, just 6% use the search bar, but that has grown to a massive 32% of revenue. So shoppers that know what they're looking for. Now, 65% of shoppers say the most influential website aspect is ease of navigation. And 83% said a good digital experience is being able to quickly accomplish what I came to do. Sarah, how are you helping shoppers find what they came for when they come to site?
Jam-packed question. Thanks for having me here today, Kate and team. Critical, exactly that last line that you mentioned, being able to quickly accomplish, customers being able to come by and quickly accomplish what they want or find what they want, really. And I think now in a need it now, want it now world, it's so crucial for your e-com experience and that customer experience to really have search as almost a backbone. I think I like to refer to it, that backbone of the website, and being able to find the right product, find the relevant products that customers are after. You know, I think we all instinctively, default to Google searches nowadays, and it's that mindset of searching. You're not looking up something specific or going directly to somewhere. You're sort of treating, customers can treat your website as a bit of a Google search. So it's so important to have those right keywords in place, having your synonyms downlocked, your spell checks, and those things, that come with that search experience. Search is such a critical component, and that's not just basic search, just not okay search. It's that good, powerful search that really powers that experience on site. And particularly for a fashion and apparel retailer like ourselves, it is so important to be able to showcase the right product, the breadth of the range. We're known for our different fabrics here at Cookai. So what's that black dress that you're looking for? And what does that mean when you're searching on site, and being able to narrow it down to say what you, Kate, would specifically need to search for this weekend going out for a night out on the town? What does that mean in being able to showcase the relevant search results? So I think with that, being able to partner with yourselves, has really been able to elevate our customer experience online. And I know, as you mentioned earlier, being here for 10 years, we've seen some interesting search, seasons, I'd probably like to call it, and being able to partner with a powerful solution like SearchSpring has been such a vital component to our e-commerce experience online, and bringing that to life hand in hand with the power of merchandising and telling stories through our merchandising, showcasing particular campaigns, leveraging the merchandising insights as well as the search insights to make those decisions and really continue to evolve the customer experience online. And I guess, we could probably talk for a long time about these points, but, you add in your filters, your spelling corrections, synonyms, and all of that, and just being able to leverage those elements of that search and merch experience is really crucial to that overall customer experience online.
Yeah, absolutely. That stat that I mentioned at the start, around 34% of sites not returning useful results with a misspelling by a single character, and having that auto spell correction, but based on that product catalog, not on a dictionary, is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the other piece there is picking up that data and insights and being able to use those insights to inform that future decision making. And I know the team really lean into that A/B testing as well. Now, then 54% said they purchased products when they came across them unexpectedly. Now, I'm surprised that number's not higher, because I know that is the way I shop. I am an e-commerce manager's dream shopper. I'm one of those shoppers that will always grow my average order value by adding things to cart that I was definitely not looking for. How do you help shoppers on that product discovery journey?
For us, I guess the biggest one for us is leveraging the search spring recommendations widgets, and the one that we've really, has been quite powerful for us since partnering with the solution is the You May Also Like and the recently viewed widgets, which have proven quite powerful. And as I mentioned earlier, with a range of the collection that we have when it comes to dresses and pants, and an array of wide leg pant, it's really being able to showcase those alternate options and sort of have in customers' direct view of what those other alternatives might look like based on, I guess, their interaction with the site and the products that they've been interacting with. And likewise, going back to the good old black dress example, one can never have too many black dresses, particularly here in Melbourne. What does that look like for you? Is it long sleeve? Is it round neck? Is it short sleeve? Is it midi, maxi, etc.? We could go on for days. But I guess having the powerful tool there that's actually showcasing relevant recommendations and not showing you something that's sort of completely left field that isn't quite relevant to your journey and to what you have engaged with on site. So that for us has been a real powerful tool, and being able to also on top of that delve into A/B testing, which is something that we've been super excited about, and being able to see some really interesting results. And I guess as well, the power of A/B testing through merch, sort of proving, I guess, some of your own personal theories wrong. And I think that's where you can sort of see those results and able to take actions and take that back to the business and be like, what, this is what's actually happened. Maybe we need a bit of an internal mind shift, or maybe we need to just give it a go, and a bit of a test and learn process there with the A/B testing powers that SearchSpring has to offer. So for us, that I feel like we've probably only really hit the tip of the iceberg there, and there's just so much more to unpack there and really delve into more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great to see those what else have customers viewed, but of a similar nature. Whenever we're on the Kookeye side and you're jumping around and clicking through different things, those recommendations are so similar to where I currently am in my shopping journey. And Kookeye is one of our top personalized product recs performers, right? It's so great to see that actually really turning into that revenue number as well. So then from a new product releases, new collection drops, going into sales and promotion times are all key part of the Kookeye sales strategy. What are your tips for you focused on growing conversions, the average order value, and then that retention piece that was called out in that survey earlier as those key priorities for e-commerce managers?
Yeah, well, for us, I think the biggest thing has been the power of the banners. Something that's really transformed that experience on site, and whether that's launching a brand new summer collection or winter collection, right through to our peak promotional periods. Obviously, we've got Afterpay Day this week, as I'm sure everyone's gearing up for, and obviously the likes of Black Friday coming up not too far away from us. Being able to showcase whether that's beautiful campaign content that's been shot in Queenstown. Our lovely winter campaign was shot there this year. Really elevating that customer experience on site through our collections pages, video banners, static image banners, for those sort of highlight moments of the season. But on top of that, during those peak periods or promotional periods, being able to call out specific messaging from a promotional aspect, or through our sale collections, more tailored messaging around there through the banners has been quite key for us and really powerful, and something that the business has certainly been excited about, and a real elevation in that customer journey on site since partnering with the team at SearchSpring. So that's been super exciting. On top of that, badges are a big thing for us as well, being able to create some sense of urgency with our best sellers, with things that are almost out of stock. And we've had some real key pieces this season where we've had some hot sellers that are just in one day and out the next. So for us to be able to highlight that and showcase that, as well as with the merchandising aspect, to leveraging those insights, using a combination of all three to really maximize that conversion and send the right message across, communicate, and tell the story that we need to tell also.
Yeah, absolutely. That almost gone badge gets me every time. It really plays into that scarcity.
You're a marketer's dream, Kate.
Yeah, I know. And so does my credit card.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you so much for going through all of that. Some really good actionable tips and insights. Really appreciate you sharing that, and we'll be welcoming you back shortly. But let's dive into our second strategy now. And so joining us, we'll have Michael from Preezy and Dan from Adore Beauty, unpacking the concept of Discover. So over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Kate. Really appreciate that. And thanks, Dan, for your time. So
Cool.
moving straight into it, I think the second part of the strategy is all about discovery. So I'm going to ask Dan a couple of questions just on the work that he's been doing throughout his career. So I think it's great we just get straight into it. So Dan, going on the theme of the webinar and the event, we all know the e-commerce industry is moving so fast. And when things move at this kind of pace, it's really easy to just miss things, miss trends, or make mistakes. So getting straight into the deep end, Dan, we all know you've been in e-com for a while. So from your experience and from your various roles, can you give us some examples or some ideas of some big mistakes or some things that you've maybe missed that you're happy to share?
Yeah, sure, mate. Look, I mean, things are moving pretty fast right now, and there's, ups and downs in the economic cycle. And I mean, just think about when you're in a real rush to get somewhere. I don't know you, but my kids are screaming and we just need to get out the door. I'm just focused on getting out the door, like everything else becomes not necessary. It really narrows down, what you're focused on and what you consider. You miss a whole bunch of stuff. Similarly, when things are moving fast or when there's variations in the economic cycle, sometimes you get conservative. Sometimes you actually go into protection mode and you miss things. So the first thing I'd say is one of the mistakes over all the different businesses I've been in, thinking about 2008, thinking about the ups and downs more recently as well, is don't narrow your focus. So, keep across all the opportunities. Now, that's a bit of a vague one, really. But I think an example is COVID. So March 2020, there was a huge variation. The world was shutting down. Lots of companies, started slashing their investment as well. We carefully looked at internal and external data, brought it together to be able to forecast what was going on. So I think when the conditions are moving really quickly, get all the data you can to try and inform a consistent and strong, decisive, action set, because then you'll take advantage. Other companies will be flailing, other businesses will be flailing around going, oh my God, you'll have a clear view on, hey, is this an opportunity for us or is it a risk? Or what are the mixes there? So use external and internal data. We used, various external sources, combine them with internal, and sort of had a good estimate on what it was going to mean for us. And that meant we took instant action. I think that's really important. If I think back to 2008, I was at General Pants launching their e-commerce business. It was a bit of a varying up and down economic time. And one of the things they did to really accelerate their total database and their total e-commerce growth was use every single one of their stores to collect emails overnight. Tens of thousands of emails came flying in. And I think in varying conditions, when things are moving fast, leverage your assets more. Really sweat your assets. So you've gone out and bought an incredible CRM/email platform, ASP, customer marketing platform, whatever you want to call it, and you're using, half of it. Now's the time to use its full capability. So go to every one of your SaaS platforms and speak to them about what you can do more with their product. I think that's really important as well. Other mistakes, well, the great thing about in e-com, mistakes can sometimes be great. So sorry emails, that's a mistake, but they respond really, really well. And also emails in general, don't make the mistake of treating them like, I don't know, golden winged eagles, which are precious and will live forever. They won't. They're like butterflies or cicadas or blowflies. They last for 24 hours in your customers' minds. So get them out there, test, iterate, get your customer feedback, and then go on to the next one. Give your team and empower your team the ability to run those themselves, rather than having to get multiple points of feedback in your business, so that you can fail faster, win even faster. I think they're really important things. And in this environment as well, another thing is, everything's moving fast. Keep a careful eye on the slow burn stuff. So, that's about the stuff that's harder to measure in your business. Try to connect that to value, whether that be directly via GA or via links or codes. I think about all that content. You need to prove the value of that stuff, and think about how they're generating and supporting customer repeat and LTV. Don't discard those when things get variable, or when things are moving too quickly.
Yeah, no, they're great points, Dan. I think one of the things you mentioned is almost like keeping opportunistic. Lots of the e-com managers we speak to, often they might speak to a vendor or block out an hour a week to speak to a couple of vendors just to see what's kind of trending. So moving on to the next question, there is lots of talk about online and obviously offline. Now, there is a lot of, when it comes to online specifically, what do you think that online or pure play businesses can do to make experiences great, that often don't have the support of physical stores? Because lots of businesses, especially we work with the omni-channel, and the stores can support the site. But do you have any tips that you can share to how to make a pure play kind of stand up against those omni-channel brands?
Yeah, look, I think you have to. It sounds like something I tell my kids. Be true to yourself. You need to use the advantages of your own platform or format. And with online, I think the first thing is, to make a great experience online, you need to nail the nuts and bolts. So that's consistency, delivery, returns, complaints. Make them really smooth. And make them easy. So let's assume you nail the nuts and bolts. Then I think you need to, what I call, go beyond the transaction whilst they're in the transaction. So do more than just, here's, you want to buy that? Here, let's take your money. Reviews, and lots of them, and make sure they're authentic. Range that they want. Not just what you think is going to be valuable and lucrative, but range that they want. That means listening to them. And I think that's another thing too. So listening to your customers. Now, if you think about a store, they walk in there, they're dissatisfied, they make that really clear. The store learns, a good store manager anyway. However, in online, you need to make sure that you also get that advantage. So make sure that you've got really strong points of collection of customer feedback, not feedback once they've got the product, but when they're in the store as well as when they got their product, and make sure that feedback plugs straight into your team, and make sure your team cares about it. And the way to do that is demonstrate care, so you care about it as well. And for us, that means that we've got piped positive and negative reviews constantly coming in, and I constantly talk about them with our team, and our team constantly circulates them as well. So that helps you iterate and change and make a great experience. And I think the last point is that you really need, if you think about a great in-store experience, it will be someone coming up to you and go, hey, can I help you with something? Or if I think about the best experience, it's like, hey, Dan, you were here last week. I remember that, you really love that style of shirt, et cetera, et cetera. It's that kind of discovery and anticipation and personalized experience. Now, it's no surprise, Michael, we've worked with Preezy for a while at Adore, and one of their products, sort of their discovery products, the journeys, Preezy Journeys, has been really powerful for us in terms of meeting that customer and saying, hey, are you looking for yourself or for a gift? Helping them move from a shopper to a buyer without them feeling like they're being pushed down a funnel. Because often in e-commerce, it's like you're on an escalator straight to the checkout point. And what's great about in-store is this sense of discovery, exploration, understanding. And so that's been powerful for us. And it's part of what sort of, I think, drives a great online experience, irrespective of in-store. We can make brilliant experiences just online.
Thank you, Dan. That was great. So to my last question, I've been buying from JB Hi-Fi a lot. I think their experience in-store and online is the best. That's why I keep coming back. Simply put, we know that there's a lot of value in post-transaction, after the first transaction. In your experience, what value can brands bring beyond the first checkout, which ultimately goes to increasing lifetime value and keep customers coming back?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think people might have seen that ad on TV a while ago where there's a couple in a bank signing a mortgage, and the second they sign, all the walls drop away and they're in the middle of a desert. Often for online retailers, it's almost the same, right? Once they've pressed checkout, we're like, oh, well, hey, we've done our job now. It's, if you think about a real shopping experience, it's in a mall or it's in a shopping center or it's in a high street, and it's kind of this beautiful discovery. You go to one shop, you go to another. It's an organic experience. So I think first of all, post checkout, as a business, you need to make sure you nail a few things like emails and follow up. How did you like the product? What was your experience? Information. How you bought this, can we suggest that, you use it that way, or here's some ways to get the most value out of the thing you bought. I also think really relevant content to help them keep on discovering and keep on finding more things out about the particular category they shopped in. And I think about, like I said before, if you once you've actually purchased, then you browse onto the next store. And that kind of discovery is really powerful. It's also, as a business, it's about, if those businesses are kind of indirectly co-referring each other. If I'm in a mall and I've got my store there, well, then once they shop with me, they go off to the next place, and I'm kind of indirectly referring. I think that's really powerful. It's positive for the business as well, because they're getting leads, traffic, people coming to them, and they're sending traffic out externally. Again, Michael, no surprise, we chatted about this a year ago, and you started, as part of that conversation, you started a new product in Preezy called NextBuy. And what that does is, once someone's shopped at any of that NextBuy network, they can then get referred to another retail partner, just like a shopping center. And we kind of talked about that because what we've done is set up one-to-one direct partnerships with other businesses. And in this current environment, but in any across the economic cycle, partnerships are really powerful. So, I'm not going to advocate that everyone must go to Preezy and NextBuy. It's something we use. It's really powerful, but partnerships, even by themselves, are really valuable. It's a way of sharing traffic. It's a way of, we're all paying for Google, Meta, all that traffic. We don't need to individually pay. We can share the traffic. So partnerships are really powerful. They do take a lot of effort and setup though. Only, 8 months in, NextBuy has got over 50 retailers already signed up. And so for us, aside from that constant post-sale experience where we're following up, adding value, encouraging them to keep on shopping, if I think about the app as well, there's an app limbo bar, and that bar is, if I don't use my app more than once every 2 to 3 months, I delete it. So you're going to need to add content, something else on that app that's beyond the transaction, in order to keep the repeat and to stop them deleting the app. So there's all those things we do, but also to use and to really value every traffic and every visit and every exploration, every user that comes to us, to make sure that we refer and give them added value post shop. We've used partnerships, and specifically NextBuy, because it helps us get instant partnerships. Just add water, 50 plus, and keep referring. So there's value in that for us as well, because we get referrals back.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. And excellent plug. So on that basis, I will hand it back over to our wonderful MC, Kate. So thank you, Dan, for your time.
That was brilliant.
Thanks, mate.
Great job. And yeah, Dan and the Adore team, I just have to say, commend you both on how to make your site like really easy to get to the products that you're tried and tested, the brands and the products that you've used for the last 10, 20 years, but then also really focused on that discovery piece of those new brands, those new products, particularly those best sellers and those top rated. I love being able to uncover those new ones, and that loyalty piece, tying it all together, definitely keeps me coming back time and time again. To learn more about Preezy, there is a QR code on the screen. Take a quick snap, and you'll be able to learn even more about the great work that they do and the brands that they power. Let me now welcome back Sarah from Cookai and introduce Andrew from stockinstore. They are going to really look into the strategy of Connect and creating those seamless online and offline retail shopping experiences.
Thanks so much, Kate. Hi, Sarah. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. God, 2 for 1 today. Poor audience.
Absolutely. So, I mean, today our topic is connect, and I guess from a stock in store perspective, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is that we, through our omni-channel solutions, actually connect up customers with not just the website, but through to stores and the ERP system and all aspects of the retail operations business, and we also touch all parts of, I guess, a retailer's business in terms of, digital, because we touch the website, finance, retail ops, all of these areas of the business. So in terms of connecting, what was one of, I guess, the key thoughts and concerns that I guess Cook-Eye had initially in terms of, putting its click and collect solution in place and, and its impact on the business as a whole in touching all of those areas of, connecting up?
Yeah, well, I think for us, given that we've, sort of worked together for quite some time, I was thinking about it the other day, there's been 6-7+ years now, I think, if I can count correctly.
Yeah, you were one of our first customers.
Yeah.
6 years ago.
6, that's okay, good, I got the number right.
Yep.
I think for that, we have obviously partnered with Stock in Store prior to the click and collect piece from that find in store functionality for our website. And I think, partnering with the guys at Stock in Store was a huge, it made sense for us when it came to that click and collect component, because it was sort of, I guess you could almost say a bit of the next step for us in terms of what really that experience looked like on site. It was an existing feature from that find in store perspective, and being able to then obviously go down the click and collect path with Andrew and the team. It made a lot of sense for us to just continue down that path and really, I guess, evolve that familiarity on site for the customer more. More importantly, that there wasn't such a huge change or a shift in that. And for us, it's so important to be able to partner with solutions that are really customer centric and really customer focused. And I think Andrew and the team are very used to our sometimes peculiar use cases, is probably the better phrase to use, and being able to collaboratively work together to partner and really work through those use cases that can be quite specific to the business needs. And I think when you are looking at sometimes other solutions, you as a business are sometimes subject to, I guess, that overall technical piece or whatever it might be. But I think for Cook-Eye and the team at Stock in Store, that collaboration piece has really served us well over the 6 years, and being able to really collaboratively really work together and continue to evolve that customer experience online and in store now. So, yeah.
Thanks so much. And in terms of, I guess, you spoke about the customer and the customer experience. I guess, what have you found since implementing click and collect? And it wasn't that long ago. It was only really a few months ago that we finally got there.
Finally, yes.
I guess, what's the customer feedback? One of the things that I guess has come through in terms of feedback from everyone that's filled in the survey was conversion rate and upsell and all of these sorts of things in these tight economic times. What's the feedback that you've had from customers in terms of that experience and how click and collect has actually driven some of those I guess metrics for the business?
Yeah, well, I think, as cliche as it sounds, easy, really, and giving the customer that peace of mind. As I mentioned earlier in my session with Kate just then, we've had some of these critical, I guess, products that have really just sold out, and some sort of hot, high in demand items that have really been able to, I guess, with the click and collect service, being able to really give that ease of that shopping experience to the customer, and that peace of mind that they can go into store knowing that they have secured that final product or that final last one in the business that we may not be bringing back. So to be able to have that, and then that obviously translating that customer experience into store, and having our retail team being able to have the opportunity to upsell and talk about the garments a little bit more, and being able to provide instructions on how to care for it, and all those elements that you would get from that in-store experience. And I guess having the customer really almost not have that sort of distinct divide between both. It is Cook Eye at the end of the day. Whether they transact online or in store has really, I guess, continued to blur those lines almost, and just have it as that all, towards that really true omni-channel experience.
And in terms of, I guess, in the topic of the fast principle, one of the things that we've seen in some of the reporting metrics that we've seen on that have come through is essentially and retail operations. We had a lot of conversations about what impact it would actually have on the retail operations teams in stores, and being disruptive and all of these sorts of things. And you spoke just before about giving them the ability to actually meet with the customer, talk to the customer, personally identify them, and in that concept of personalization when customer walks in, how easy has it been for the store staff? And I think we see there's about 80% of all click and collect orders that are coming through. A customer gets a notification that it's ready to collect within 2 hours. So in terms of, I guess, speed and getting things fast and customers getting things fast, how has that impacted, I guess, customers' experiences and expectations, as opposed to just being able to have to order it online and wait for it to be delivered? What's the customer feedback been and the store's feedback been in that regard?
Yeah, well, I think for us internally, from working on the project, I think we were quite pleasantly surprised at, the real uptake from our retail team. And obviously, we've got those conversations around reporting and sales attribution and all that other fun stuff. But for us, we were really excited to see exactly like you said, that 80%. 80% of customers getting their notifications on time, and just the excitement from the retail team to be able to put together that order, go through the whole entire process. And I think for us as a business, the biggest thing about the stock in store solution was how easy it was for our retail teams to receive the order, easily step through the process quite almost, you just sort of don't have to think about it really, step through that, wrap up the order, send the notification off to the customer. And it is really a non-frictional point also for the retail team. So as easy as it is for the customer, but also for us internally, ensuring that it's easy for our staff to be able to fulfill that order in store, and having that as part of an enjoyable experience for the team in store, and really motivating them, empowering them to have that ease of use to fulfill that order quite well. And also that gives them that excitement that, hey, Kate's coming in to pick up her black dress. Here she is. And what does that, what else can I sort of chat to Kate about? How do I care about the garment? Kate, you're going out on Saturday night. Here's a pair of earrings and maybe a pair of shoes to go with it. So it's, it's been very positive for us.
So in terms of, I guess, retailers at the moment are talking about how to get customers into a store and the upsell process. I guess what's the, you spoke just before about, yes, I've bought the dress online, I've walked into the store, but your team are actually upselling, and how important was that training process? I guess that's not something that we can provide, but just internally the opportunity to actually have the team, meet a customer and be able to then talk to them, going from an online into a physical store, and actually really owning that customer thereafter.
Yeah, super crucial. And I think a credit to our retail team, whereas we, don't like to have those distinct lines between who the customer where the customer initially transacted. At the end of the day, she's the Cook Eye customer, and she's here to have that exceptional experience both online and in store. So excited to see what the next evolution of click and collect is for Cook Eye, and great to partner with yourselves, Andrew, and see what the next phase is for us.
One last thing, I guess, do you know what percentage of customers in the principle of the future is fast? What percentage of customers are actually collecting their orders within 24 hours of their click and collect order, within placing the order and then collecting it thereafter? Do you have any of those sorts of metrics?
Yeah, at the moment it's sitting around that 40-45% mark. And I think the times of peak periods coming up now with that BFCM and heavy gifting peak period, I think we all need to brace ourselves and hold on for that to just only skyrocket when we've got Christmas parties, to go to wedding season starts again soon, and all the alike for the Cook Eye customer. So can only imagine that number would only be on the up from there.
One last thing, sorry, Kate. Customer feedback. What's the customer feedback been? Obviously you get feedback on social media and you listen to the customer feedback. What's the feedback been? Because I think at one point in time there was a lot of conversation, that customers really want this technology, and I guess now that you've got it, what's that feedback been in terms of its execution by the business?
Yeah, well, I guess we took it with a subtle soft launch initially, and really now started to vamp up our comms around it, and really looking forward to doing a more full-blown campaign, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So far, the customer feedback has been quite positive. The ease of use, the notifications, I think, and how quickly our stores are sending out and fulfilling those orders have been crucial. And I think, reducing the comms there, even when they need to change their collection dates, the stores have that direct relationship with the customers there. So quite a positive overall, experience from our customers, that they've got the item. If they don't pick it up today, they'll be there, and they will no doubt still commit to picking up their purchases and having that in-store experience as well.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Sarah, for coming back and giving us a 2-for-1 and sharing some insights into the way in which Cook Eye are doing things in the Connect and in this future is fast world. Thanks.
Thanks.
That was great team. Andrew, you're like me, you could talk to Sarah all day. So many insights and so much great feedback. And I think the key things there is about how to remove friction in the shopping experience. And particularly as we're going into that peak trade, having a focus and now getting some strategies in place to looking at that orders on time and meeting those customer and shopper expectations, particularly when the warehouses and order pick, pack and delivery teams are getting increasingly busy. We're also seeing brands starting to add inline banners towards the bottom of the page on in a rush. Check out our click and collect locations as well. And I'm always a last minute shopper. If you want to learn more about Stock in Store, QR code on the screen. And I know Andrew will be very keen to continue those conversations as well. Let's move into our last strategy of deliver. As a very last minute shopper myself, I think this is such an important theme on giving customers that choice in that delivery piece, and looking at how that can be used for that post-purchase competitive advantage. So let me welcome James from Render and Samantha from Venroy to cover this one off for us.
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. And it's been great to hear sort of everyone, all the partners talk about the key findings and key metrics. And I think it's quite fitting that the final piece of this webinar focuses on that delivery piece, which is seen as probably the most critical part of that shopping experience. It's that final mile to meet that customer's needs and meet that customer's demand. And you only have to look at the Shopify e-commerce report to know that 66% of customers expect at least same day, next day or 2-day delivery. So meeting that customer need is imperative in that shopping experience. And super excited to be joined by Head of Digital and E-commerce at Venroy to talk through Venroy's experience with elevating their customer experience through delivery. So I think it's probably best to start from before and bring in the now and understand from your experience, Sam, thus far with Venroy, how that delivery piece was handled previously, and was customer experience prioritized as much as it is nowadays from a retailer that's only recently brought in delivery that meets those customers' demands through convenience and certainty.
Yeah, sure. Tough act to follow as well, guys, being the last ones. You all did an amazing job and so many insights there. Yeah, I've been at Venroy now for almost 5 months, which has absolutely flown. I guess just kind of taking a step back, what I really loved about the brand before I came on board is that dedication to the customer experience, very brand first strategy, and a huge amount of rigor around generating desire and demand for the product in which, we release on a seasonal basis, but, through drops, and one thing that we don't do is rely on things like promotions. So in an environment that we are in at the moment, obviously economical pressures, it's really important for us to always build that product and brand strategy. So a massive draw card for me coming on board here to focus on making this even bigger and better, and kind of, as James said, focusing on that end-to-end experience. My background is in digital marketing and e-com. I've also got consulting experience too, but I know just how important it is to kind of fulfill that need for post-purchase and delivery, especially in an environment where we are really chasing acquisition and needing to kind of, I guess, close out that marketing funnel and just make sure that all of that money we've spent across the whole branding exercise is really driving that ROI for us. So where we've seen ourselves as a brand really succeed in the past is really around innovation. So not something that we usually tie to things like fulfillment or shipping. I think sometimes those are kind of the unsexy terms for some retailers in the kind of e-com landscape. But we're really, really excited to see whether we could kind of innovate that kind of last touch point or end point customer experience, and Render really being able to do that for us. I think noting also the kind of uptake in online post-COVID, we know our customers are far more confident. Our kind of demographics at Venroy are really used to shopping online very often. But traditionally, before I came on board, delivery, I guess, was a bit more traditional. It was kind of always had that layer of put the customer first, but, you know, standard next day, metro shipping, we had click and collect capabilities, but all of those had great uptakes. But I think, you know, really missing out on that innovation piece and being really critical on what we were actually doing as a brand. We weren't really living up to that key term, innovation. Everything was working really, really well, but, you know, kind of taking that into our hands and pushing it forward. I think the prioritization of the customer experience hasn't really changed internally. I think everyone likes to talk about how much they prioritize their customer, but I think the biggest difference to what we're doing now versus before is actually showing that we're prioritizing the customer. So Render allows us to kind of put our money where our mouth is in terms of saying, we want you to get our product quickly, we want you to have it on the same day. And in that, internally, we've had to kind of really prioritize our tech, our integrations, you know, meeting those SLAs of 3 hours has been prioritized. Standards around packaging and expectations, and I guess just delivery on the roadmap completely. So yeah, taking that one step further from today, from where we were 6 months ago, being able to really deliver on that. And we've also accelerated our global proposition to making sure delivery can be really achieved timely and concisely as well.
Absolutely. And I can definitely vouch for that, working very closely with the Venroy brand, very customer focused and customer centric, and talking on that confidence piece. I think that's the biggest one. It's giving your customers confidence in their shopping ability. So touching on Kate's point earlier, 85% of customers say that a poor delivery experience would prevent them from shopping from that retailer again. So it's really giving that customer the confidence to return, not just purchase there and then, but give them that experience to say, I want to come back and experience that again and again. And following on from that, I think it'd be good to understand how you've seen your customers react to being able to enable such an offering like 3 hour and same day delivery. So your customers can literally check out and have their goods delivered in a matter of hours. How has the customer feedback been since offering those fast and reliable delivery options?
Yeah, I'm genuinely not just saying this in terms of this, but we've seen such a great uptake without really being able to push it. I've kind of tied this down to 3 things. And number one is our business model is kind of set up in a way that we've really trained that customer to get it or miss out. So being able to kind of grant their wishes, I think, from the offset and get that product in their hands as quickly as possible, I think has been great. You know, they see the option to check out and it's just been a really quick win. Whilst they're, you know, entering all their details, they know what they want, and if they can get that even quicker, I think that's really meeting that customer need. Our demographic, as I said earlier, kind of they're very savvy. I think it is becoming an expectation now. You know, some retailers have been doing same day shipping and things like that for some time. And we know that the customers who shop with us and our loyal customers are shopping with other brands who may offer similar services. So we knew that awareness was there. So I think that has helped us kind of have a higher propensity to use a service like this because our customers are familiar with it. But thirdly, something I think that's striking all retailers at the moment is there's so much change happening now. The seasonality, we're in winter and it's really warm, it's cold, you know, people are going away this year. Everyone feels like they've gone to Europe a lot quicker and a lot earlier in the year than they have traditionally. So being able to kind of meet that demand, I think our customers are being a bit more fickle where they're spending their money. If they want it straight away, whether they're going for a winter getaway in the Hunter Valley locally or a summer getaway in south of France. I think in terms of our customer knowing that they need that product and need it quickly, and those three things really being able to meet that demand and get it to them as quickly as possible. We haven't necessarily shouted about it, as I've said, but I think it's been a great conversion driver for us, considering we don't have that capability or ability to knock our price down. Having the words 3-hour delivery, same day shipping has been so valuable on all of our marketing communications, and really bolstered that, I guess, psychology of a customer seeing that and closing that loop and getting that sale quicker. I think it's been really interesting as a business to report on when this has been used, who it's being used by, and what drives that behavior. So we've been able to make different shifts in our marketing mix, or things like emails, for example, when we see that we have a higher proportion of 3-hour shipping or same day shipping happening in a certain region or a certain gender. You know, we might see that men's knitwear is trending and customers want it in 3 hours. And that has sometimes meant culturally as a business, we've been far more, I guess, closer to some of these metrics, and probably not what we thought. Having a 3-hour or same day shipping capability, we didn't think that would have such a big impact on our trading rhythm, but it really, really has, in terms of just being closer. And, you know, the closer you are, essentially, the better connection you can make with your customers, and the closer you can get to that sales number, which at the end of the day, we all are wanting to achieve. A couple of learnings I think we have found with this is quick is obviously great. It's not always best. And I think sometimes, you know, we were fairly cautious with this at first. But if we were to do this again, I think we would probably have gone a little bit quicker. And we had a plan in place at first. And I think that we probably could have accelerated that a bit quicker, just knowing how the integrity of the service provided has been exceptional. We've also learnt that this is not actually more work. So we did think that we'd have to kind of source this and back this with internal resource from a head office point of view, for customer experience, and also in store. But we've actually found that these customers who want their products on the same day and want it fast, actually the dream customers. They order more, they spend more, and they're actually pretty quiet. So we're not seeing the outreach of these customers asking us, where is it? It's been 1 hour, it's not here yet. So yeah, I think some key learnings for us is just have some confidence in what we're doing and just speed it up from there.
Absolutely. And I think just from the experience thus far, it started out of, with Venroy in particular, it started out of their warehouse, the same day fulfillment, and then slowly rolled out into their stores. And obviously seeing the uptake from ship from store is really crucial, because obviously you can hit more customers, closer proximity to a customer, all key learnings and key metrics that you focus on to be able to get more customers the ability to take advantage of that same day offering. As well as, I think when you talk about those key metrics and those customers that are actually the ones that you're trying to hit, it's those average order value and average basket size increases. It's that idea that I have confidence in what I'm shopping because I'm actually going to get those goods in a timely manner. So I'm happy to spend more and I'm happy to buy more if I know those goods are going to arrive the same day or within a matter of hours. I think what retailers are always on the hunt for, and you touched on it a bit, is those cost savings and those improved efficiencies. And whilst it might be a bit too early to quantify what those cost savings are, it'd be good to understand, have there been any efficiency improvements that have come about from same-day delivery? In particular, some of the learnings that we have is less support tickets due to happy customers, or eliminating the risk of refunds and returns due to those long and expedited shipping times. So yeah, it'd be good to understand some of those efficiency improvements you've found, and also in particular the efficiency you've found from unlocking that ship from store model.
Yeah, of course. So I think in terms of cost, obviously everyone's under so much cost from a retailer perspective at the moment. Dan spoke really beautifully around kind of looking at where your money is, sweating the assets. I absolutely agree. I think for us, looking at our cost here, we look at ROI as kind of return on investment, but also kind of return on involvement too. And it's been really great to see that we can really roll this out in our store network and see what that return on involvement and cost has been, not only kind of what we're paying in terms of invoicing, but that cost of that retail store store member being on duty in a store that may have a quiet hour. We're of course paying payroll, making sure we can sweat our assets with the retailers, you know, and our store staff too is really important, and make sure we can use every hour in that day really, really strategically. So we've definitely seen a return on investment in that perspective. What we have seen is the engagement in that store network. You know, it's been great to see just with the solution, we can tag up our kind of VIP customers. And when that store is going to pack that order and send it out, we've seen great uptake in things like being able to surprise and delight that customer even further. So not only is that item or those items packed up and with them within 3 hours, we can choose the ability to pop in a gift with purchase or write a note from that store manager, which really goes towards that kind of desire and demand that we really from the outset really want to achieve as a business. So there's a sense of ownership too in that store, and culturally, you know, where that sale goes, we've seen none of that barrier being an issue for us. Less, I said, decrease reliance on our 3PL too. So of course, if that product is in store, would much rather sell that style and get that out rather than kind of having it all come back to the warehouse and then moving it around our store network. So I think overall the biggest efficiencies have been in those two things, and great that the business also culturally has seen this just be such a positive uptake in those store team members taking it seriously. I even reached out to all of the managers before this to ask them for any feedback or even just being critical, and there was literally none. They think it's a really great solution, and have nothing bad to say.
Awesome. Well, that's always good to hear. And obviously, thank you very much for your time and giving everyone a bit of insight into how Venroy has gone about their delivery experience and met the needs of their customers. As I mentioned before, a brand that's very customer focused and very customer centric, and to be able to meet those customers' needs through convenient delivery, it always makes that shopping experience that one step better. It's meeting that initial experience, finding, discovering, connecting, but the final piece and the most critical piece is actually delivering on that promise, and something Venroy does extremely well. So thank you very much, Sam, and I'll hand back to Kate.
Thank you, team. Yeah, that was great. What I really loved hearing there is how Venroy is not just meeting the customer experience, but elevating the customer experience. To learn more about Render, QR code is on the screen right now. Thank you so much for joining us to look into The Future is Fast. If you haven't yet already downloaded the ebook and learn how to help shoppers find, discover, connect, and deliver in more efficient and engaging ways, we're going to do a quick rapid round of questions. So the first one, Samantha, apart from delivery speed, what do you think impacts the customer experience the most in the post-purchase stage?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's like I said before, it's great for it to get there quickly, but it has to get there according to kind of brand standards. So we make sure things are packaged really beautifully. And then following on from that, you know, we're all familiar with kind of post-purchase surveys, reviews and things like that, really making sure that, you know, we're not just thinking that delivery or service has been good, that we've actually welcomed the customer to come back to us and also tell us that they agree with that too. So yeah, it has to get there, has to meet that expectation, not just in time, but I guess in accuracy, and making sure that we're closing the loop from end to end.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Next question is for Sarah. Build or buy. So the question was, we're planning to implement click and collect on our new website. Why should we use a solution partner and not just build our own?
Why not? For us, I'll use us as an example. We're quite a lean team here at Cookeye. So for us, it really made sense to partner with the experts and to partner with the guys who've done it over and over again, where, as I mentioned before, sitting down to collaborate, to work through use cases. And more importantly, Andrew and the team being able to share their insights and their learns, and, some of the industry best practices that you as your business can really leverage and be able to, work on that customer experience. So for us, it made perfect sense to partner with the experts.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And I think what Dan spoke about earlier around leaning into tech partners right now to get the most out of investment in that technology stack. So then, Dan, we've got a question for you. Any tips on how to simplify product selection or discovery for clients or for shoppers when you have a large catalog of items?
Yeah, look, I mean, way back when I worked in Officeworks and I was set up and growing their online business, we had this category of shoppers which were called, I think, effectively stationery fanatics, stationery lovers, and they would walk into Officeworks stores and just stand in front of the aisles and just wonder at all the different colors and highlighters and all that sort of stuff. And so never feel like your product inventory size is a disability. You want your customers to love all that choice, but at the same time, some things to help. So obviously, I've talked about Parisi and their discovery product, those engaging set of questions and quizzes and so on that draw you into the site. That's a real option. It's been really supportive for us and many other businesses as well. But I also love our content, and our content is across all, and you need to have it in multi formats because people want to consume content in different ways. Never make the mistake of making the content advertorial. So, I mean, just like this format right now, you need to actually give people value so that they care and want to consume your content. So make sure the content's authentic, interesting, got personal viewpoints on it as well. And make sure it's in different formats, written, video, audio, all that sort of stuff. Think about AI and recos. That's just your nuts and bolts, but make sure they're good, because if they're crappy recommendations, your customers will go, oh, that's crappy. Clearly this store isn't relevant. Make sure that there's lots of authentic and personal recommendations, because just like a store is telling me like a robot, this could suit you. And I'm like, oh, that does suit me. I get how they work that out mathematically. You also go to your friends and say, hey, what do you reckon? So, if you can get personalities and characters and personal viewpoints on your site and your content, people will listen to those. I think also then you've got to think about reviews and UX discovery. And finally, when you've got all that content and stuff that helps people get excited by your huge range, make sure you promote that content, because often it's like, oh, well, if I send an email with content in it, doesn't convert as well. May as well just stuff it with product. Remember that if you've got all that product, you need to sort of do light and shade, salt and pepper. So sometimes send them all that product. Other times send them the stuff that draws them back in and gets them interested in discovering that product. So even though you might not get great direct attribution on, all your content, that doesn't mean it's not driving and supporting all those other emails that are packed full of product.
Yeah, all really good tips and advice, and plenty of things for people to be thinking of and starting to explore further. I would like to say a giant thank you to Sarah, Dan, and Samantha to learn more about how they are creating those best-in-class online shopping experiences. To go and take a look at the Cookai, Adore Beauty, and Venro sites. I would also like to thank our partners, Parisi, stockinstore, and Render, for joining us today. We would love to continue the conversation and really look at how we can lean into the concept of the future is fast to help continue to elevate those shopping experiences and drive those e-commerce results. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day.